Hi everybody, I'm Heather Dawson. Welcome to California Life. Well, we created a segment called Spotlight because we feel there's a lot of interesting places to visit in this beautiful state. In this week's Spotlight, Lisa Spalla takes us inside the most glamorous city in the world, Hollywood.
It's been called many things. Tinseltown, the home of the stars, America's movie capital, but there's nothing quite like it in the world. And tonight we're turning the spotlight as we welcome you to Hollywood.
Tinseltown's most famous landmark is the Hollywood sign. Built in 1923, it first read Hollywoodland. The image represents the universal symbol for success, glamour, and opportunity. However, in 1939, during the Great Depression, maintenance stopped on the sign. A decade passed before the Chamber of Commerce restored the landmark to read Hollywood.
I will say I think it was a little more collegial in the early days than today because all of the merchants lived here. Or the people that lived here, most of them were in the movie business. This is a pretty big community right now. It's alive, and the name Hollywood is still magic.
Just 1 year before the sign's big debut, the hills became alive with the sound of music.
A group of people who are music lovers discovered that this area, this canyon that we're in, had a natural acoustic that was very good for music.
The Hollywood Bowl opened its doors in 1922 and for over 70 years has been home to the LA Philharmonic. The outdoor amphitheater with its iconic dome has featured the biggest performers in the world, crossing all musical genres.
I think it's one of those places that anybody who plays here will tell you is, you know, you've sort of made it when you played the Hollywood Bowl.
Bring his light on Jupiter and Mars.
I've been coming to the Hollywood Bowl since I've come to Hollywood. It is part of Los Angeles. It's a cultural event. It is such a pleasure to come here in this setting and to hear the music and eat the food and have it all combined. It's a sensual, intellectual experience that can't be equaled anywhere else as far as I'm concerned.
And if it's good eats you're looking for, Yamashiro restaurant is a must-do in Hollywood.
So give us an example of some of your signature dishes.
Well, the most popular dishes that go out are obviously the filet and the grilled seafood with lemongrass cream sauce. But the signature dishes, the dishes that I like is we have these barbecue ribs that are on the menu, and what it is basically we dry rub it, traditional American style dry rub, and we actually glaze it with I would like to call it a Korean style barbecue sauce, and it gives us kind of like a sweet spiciness to it. It's wonderful. Mashed sweet potatoes, and it's just to die for.
Hollywood went through a period there where not only did the tourists not come, but the stars didn't even want to come down here. And now, by heavens, we've got a long list that have already been approved, and we're going to be doing a lot of stars.
And on Hollywood Boulevard is the most famous movie house, the Grauman's Chinese Theater. Aligning the boulevard are the stars on the Walk of Fame. For nearly 30 years, the late honorary mayor of Hollywood, Johnny Grant, presented this honor to the likes of Gene Autry, Drew Barrymore, Ozzy Osbourne, and his very good pal, the late legendary Bob Hope.
Bob Hope used to call me. He'd say, what do I have to do? Learn how to ride to get another star?
Across the street is Hollywood's most famous and haunted hotel, the Roosevelt, which was host to the very first Academy Awards in the Blossom Room in 1929.
Well, the Roosevelt is the hottest spot in town right now, and they have really done a great job of turning that hotel around.
And after more than 70 years, Oscar has found its way back home right here in Hollywood at the Kodak Theater.
The Hollywood and Highland complex. You've got the Chinese Theater. You got everything right in there. It's a jumping place. It's kind of like going to Bethlehem. You know you're not going to see the original cast. And you're not going to see it here either, but you'll see where it took place.